All right, excellent. Welcome to our Tuesday tune-up. So as you guys know, the objective here mainly is to get standing, get loose, and combat the harms on our body from sitting down because our bodies don't like it. So the first couple things we start off with, make sure we're standing and make sure our posture is good, our three-point stack, our hip, our pelvis, our ribs, our sternum, and our head with a nice straight back, and you're standing tall. Ideally, you're doing this as much of your time sitting or standing, but we all know that's a tough one to do. So from here, we're going to work some breathing as we loosen up just a little bit. So we're going to do 3 deep breaths, a good 4 or 5 seconds in, and as you do, roll your shoulders back as you inhale. And let it all out. Pushing those shoulders back where they want to live, where they don't usually if you have a keyboard. Now, the next 3 breaths, we're going to let our arms fully come on out. So breathe in. You can let your arms loose on the way down. 2. Good, and 3. The last of these, we're going to do a full forward bend as you do these breathe-ins. So we're going to inhale, stretch, reach even up to your tiptoes. Big inhale, and a full forward bend as you exhale. Hang there for a minute. Feel a little bit of a stretch through your hamstrings, your calves, your low back, and roll up really slowly, 1 vertebrae at a time, right until your shoulders are going back. And another big breath. Hands up, stretch up. And full forward bend. Big exhale. Shake out the arms while you're down there. Roll up your spine really gradually. Last one. Reaching up. Open up that diaphragm and down. Nice start. If that's where this ends, that alone would be a really positive thing to be doing 5 times a day, every hour. If you think of it, some deep breaths, slow everything down. When you're in a bad posture position, it's hard for your body to breathe. It inflicts a different amount of stress on your body. So now we're going to do a few mobility exercises, starting with your neck. So our posture is going to stay good this whole time. Let's try and keep that. And we're just rolling our chin from one shoulder over to the other shoulder, not quite behind you. Rolling it side to side, so your chin's up on this side, your neck is bent to the side, and roll it over, ear close to your shoulder. And try and do it with a little bit of fluidity. Rolling from side to side as you keep those shoulders back, stretching those muscles in your neck. And if you want to make that stretch a little bit deeper, if you're feeling pain through your shoulders at any point during the day, can really have a lot to do with headaches. You can make that stretch a little bit more intense by pulling down right to the side, turn your palm to the front, and push down with your fingers towards the ground. And roll that ever so slightly, just a bit forward, always being really gentle with your neck. Your couple fingers are all the way across to the other side, so you're pulling your head down. Slight rolls to get to those different muscles creeping up your neck, going down across your shoulder. Same thing on the other side. Pulling down really gently, palms out, stretch that arm to the floor, your shoulders dropping. A little bit forward, a little bit back. Good. From there, next a little bit looser, we're going to move down to our shoulders right away. One of the biggest problems whenever you're sitting, working, because your posture starts to fade at the top of your spine, at your neck, and it's because your shoulders are pulling you forward. So we want to do some things to strengthen here, but loosen up first. So we'll do shoulder circles for starters. So palms are down, and you're doing small circles to the back. Every time you start your backwards movement. You want to feel your shoulder blades behind you, grabbing your shoulders and your arms. Really easy to do this passively without even using your shoulder. The more engaged your shoulder is in the socket, the better. You want to activate those muscles in the back and stretch those muscles at the front. And as we get bigger and bigger with our circles, you're moving a little bit more smoothly all the way through. Good, and we're going to turn around and go the other way. Palms are up. You're still engaged from your shoulder blade, right in the middle of your back. Small circles forward with those palms up. A little bit bigger. Good, and bigger all the time until those hands are just flowing. Now, if you have a broomstick or a towel or an exercise band or basically anything, a sweater, anything that will connect your hands. Excellent. What we're doing here, not necessary that you have a piece of equipment for this. You can obviously do these few things without it. Swiffers are the bar of choice all the time in classes. You can do everything we're about to do without any bar, but it's great to have those arms connected so the shoulders are working together. This series of 3, really quick, but a favorite. Your shoulders are back, your posture's golden, and you're bringing the bar from your waist up and over. And as far back as your shoulder mobility is going to allow you to go. Arms stay straight, and only go back as far as you're comfortable. That's different for everybody. Shoulder mobility is really tricky. If your shoulder is out of the socket, you may be able to go a lot farther back, but we're not looking for that. The shoulders are comfortably secure in the socket, and as you pull back, you're going to get stopped right about here. And each time we go back, you want a little bit of a stretch through your shoulders, through your pecs, through these muscles across the front of your shoulder that are so important to loosen up after sitting forward in a position where our shoulders are usually internally rotated and these muscles are all shortened up. Couple more, you guys have probably done about 10. Good, and on the last one, we're gonna stay up top. So if you have something that is loose, like a band or a fabric, you're gonna wanna pull, actively pull outward to engage your shoulder blades. And then from here, you're gonna bend at the elbows and bring that bar down behind your head. Don't push your head forward, your head stays right where it was with your chin up, spine straight, and pushing up, straighten the elbows. Great. Good, every time at the top, nice straight arms. Try and smoothly come back down behind you and up. Don't come down too far if you're starting to feel strain through your shoulders. Again, this is shoulder mobility, really different for everybody. So if it's only to here, right at the back of your head, 90 degrees, and head back up. Good, and the last one of these 3, you can come down with it for a moment. It's going to be up above, and you're going to be moving in a circle around your head, keeping your arms straight. That's the tricky part of this. You're going to want to bend your arms, keep those arms straight, and try and keep your hips centered. You're not moving any other part of your body except your shoulders in the socket. And if you're comfortable, get way out there with the bar almost going parallel to the 4 walls. Good, moving smoothly through that. Now let's go the other way. Starting small, right above your head. And a little bit bigger. Only if you're comfortable there and only if your arms are staying straight. Great shoulder mobilizer. Excellent. Shoulders are feeling loose. Let's do a couple things for back here. And it's a repeat. Great thing for your back. Best, which we did last day, I love upward, downward dog series. They're magic, and if you take your time through those and breathe through those, but they take a little bit more time, fabulous. But what we're going to do today is just a really slow forward bend. So from your neck, you're going to roll your spine forward until you're all the way here at the bottom, keeping your legs straight as you can. And on the way up, you're going to start straightening up from your low back, up through your mid back, dragging your hands up your body to your neck. And chin is the last thing to straighten up. Let's do a couple more of those. All the way down, starting with your chin, roll up, back forward, all the way to the bottom, rolling up nice and slow, right to the top with your shoulders. Great, great. The next back one we do is going to be with our hips. So loosening up our hips, two things. Always, I never skip hip rolls. So nice and slowly, really wide stance. That helps you open up your hips more. If you're here, it's hard for you to open up your hips at all. If your stance is nice and wide, you can really work your hips to each side, and most importantly, way back to get a good tug on your hamstrings. Out to one side, to the front, all the way back. The more of these you do, the better. And you're trying to work smoothly through that, let it roll forward. Really push your butt towards the back wall. That'll open up your hamstrings, give you a good tug back there. And turn and go the other way. Great. Hips get locked up, and there's such a problem when you're sitting down for too long. You heard it all before, but stand up at least once an hour. Get moving. Walk somewhere. So what we'll do now, which is a combination of a hip mobilizer and some rotation, we're going to take one foot and we're going to put it back so we're in a lunge position. From there, you can put your hand to your inside foot, and we're going to just open up as much as we can that way. And then other side. Keep your balance, one side and the other side. Balance between your 2 feet, 3 times each side. Good, and then bring yourself back up into the lunge. And what we'll do here is just fall deeper into your lunge and back up. Deeper into your lunge, and you can stand right back up if you want. A reverse lunge is really stretching out your hip flexors up this side. These muscles on the front that when you're sitting are shortening up for extended periods of time and getting real stiff. Keeping these loose, hugely important to your back, your hips, and everywhere up from there. Let's do the other side too. So turn if you haven't. Other foot's going back. I guess you didn't need to turn. You could have just put the other foot back. Good. And we'll start by just getting the hip in. You can bring your feet back right together, or you can just drop lower to get a good stretch and step up. Down and up. Good. We're not doing a lot of them. This is not a class, so we're not getting 10, 12 reps every time. Now this time, come on down. Drop that inside hand towards your instep and rotate around. Try and look your hand up at the ceiling as far around as you can get. And then come on down. Plant that hand and bring the other one up and around. And 3. Great. All right, we're humming right along. That was a quick little mobility series. Hugely important to do something like that throughout your day. More important, every time you're going to do any kind of a workout. Your muscles need to be a little bit loosened up. And before a workout, we generally spend more time with this. And honestly, every year that goes by, more and more time mobilizing. This is the kind of stuff I wasn't smart enough to do when I was in my 20s. Now, it's like half of the workout. So a few things for strengthening. We're going to start at your hips where we just finished off. We're going to do 2 quick things. So strengthening your hips, getting into a healthy squat, feet nice and wide. The first thing that moves is your hips. You're going back, dropping your hips nice and low as you are comfortable, and drive back up, pushing through your heels. 2, squeeze your glutes at the top. You want to activate these guys. The opposite of the tight hip flexors when we're sitting down are back here. And you want to drive forward. Your quads and your glutes, really important to keep strong. All right. And now we'll do a very similar one, but for one side. So the reverse lunge we just did, and we're going to drive up. If you can either just keep this foot off the ground or bring feet together each time. Here and drive up. That front leg is doing all the work. Your hips stay squared, your shoulders stay squared. Great one to do on a level. If it's a stair or a box, the higher, the tougher, the more stretch you get. But working that one front leg. Let's switch to the other leg if you haven't already. Only want to be getting about 5 reps here. Slightly leaning over that front leg when you're at the bottom. It's all this leg doing the work. You want to feel that through the glute and the quad. Nice. Good for hips. Now, from there, a really quick back strengthening exercise. Stabilizers. You want strong muscles up the backside here to keep your spine straight. What we're going to do is from push-up position, holding a plank. This is good enough for a lot, for most. From here, we will do a Superman, just the arms of it, where we raise one arm up to about your ear and down. We're trying to do that, keeping your shoulders and hips squared to the ground. Solid plank, your shoulders are in the good posture they are in when you're standing. Hips stay stable, shoulders stay stable. Use that shoulder mobility that we were just working on to bring the arm as high as you can. Think about getting your bicep right to your ear. Hand as high towards the ceiling as you can, and then the other side. Moving back and forth. The longer you stay in that plank, the more those stabilizers up your spine are having to work. All right, come on up. A really quick one, this is where we want to bring out the big weights. So if you have a heavy remote or a stapler or a water bottle, a full bottle, just about anything will do. Literally nothing would do, but you'd have to do a lot of reps. When our physiotherapist is working these drills with people, you're often using no weight. So the first one, really quickly, gravity's coming straight down on your shoulders. We want to strengthen mainly the shoulders towards the back and coming up your neck. So when we're doing these shoulder drills, we're going to lean slightly forward so that we're working the muscles on the back side a little bit more. And the 3 motions we're going to do are from here to a T, from here to a W, something like that, and then from here to a Y. The Y is the toughest. Thumbs are going behind you. And now when you're doing this slightly bent over, you can do this in sets of 10, do as many as you like. If you have 2 dumbbells, great, it's going to be a little bit more efficient. 1 is good enough. It actually brings in some good core work because you're resisting any kind of lateral flexion or rotation as you do that. Good. You might not want to be bent straight to the ground. If your back is parallel to the ground, you're doing awesome, but that might get tough on your low back unless you have a really good base. It's just a slight bend, comfortably supported with your bent knees, bent hips, and come out for T's. Squeezing your shoulder blades in behind you. Bend those arms a little bit, and you're coming to W's. and straighten those arms right out to Y's. Thumbs to the ceiling. Only come as far as you can move comfortably. You don't want your back to bend. You don't want your neck to strain at all. So if you can only bring the Y's up to here and they're still in front of you, that's all right. We want to be working the right muscles behind you. All right, the last one for your shoulders here is a fantastic physio exercise. Great for external rotators, which again, part of the problem is that internal rotation. If you have this small weight, you're going to take that out of your pocket and you're coming across, raising and rotating. So at the top, your thumb is in your pocket, coming across, your thumb is pointing backwards and you're looking at that hand. Each time your arm stays straight, bring it across, raise it up nice and high, and you're looking at that hand. This exercise is called free the bird or release the bird. From down in your pocket, in behind. And when it's up here, you should feel those muscles up around your shoulder blade and your scapula working really hard to stabilize that up there. Keep it rotating back. Good, let's try it a few times on the other side. Great, and the last thing that we will do, and I think keeping a strong neck is really important for me. Hugely important when it comes to headaches. Keep staying loose through your neck and shoulders. Intertwining your hands right behind your head. And this alone is a pretty good one. If you want to incorporate this into your squats, that pressure of your neck pushing back a little bit. You can also feel a little tug through here in your shoulders, stretching the ones we want to stretch, strengthening the ones we want to. But for now, it's mainly just push that neck gently back into your hands and resist with your hands. With your thumbs, you can probably even feel those muscles kicking in on your neck. Hold that for 10 seconds or so, no longer. Relax for a second and do it a second time. And we can push slightly to the diagonal. So back towards one palm or back towards the other palm, just activating some different points in your neck. Loosen that up a little bit if you want to when you're done those. You can stretch it out a little bit. And we're laughing. And that was almost a 20-minute tune-up, guys. Shaved a good 15 from last week.
That was great. No, that was really good. Thanks, Brennan.
Short and sweet. Do it often. Please do it often. It will help you so much more than you know. And if there's ever any questions, anything at all, Stephanie has my email. Please fire it out there. Any little ways that I can incorporate things that are a little bit more individualized into these tune-ups, we would love to. And if there's anything we can do here at the club, we got the health center kicking. We hope to maybe be open by, next January. But
yeah, 2022
is going, and maybe we'll see some of you guys in those if you want any information. Again, Steph has my contact.
Okay, that's great.
Thank you so much, Brennan.
Thank you, guys.
So we'll
Thank
see you live next week.
Thank
And
you.
nice seeing everybody else too. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, same here. Take care.
Bye.